Hello.
Good
Can you
morning.
hear? All
Yeah, my
right.
speakers, Mr. Circuit, are a little bit soft. I turned them up to full volume, but we can hear you if we're very quiet.
Okay. In the I don't know if you tried this, but in the corner of your screen, there's a little audio icon with a
Okay.
microphone, and there's a little caret, little up caret there. If you click on that, it'll give you an option for audio settings, and there's
Yeah.
additional volume settings within the Zoom application that may give you
Hmm.
some additional sound if you can see that.
Speakers. I don't see where that is.
But yeah, so it's just there's a thing that says audio setting at the very bottom of the list after you
Yeah.
click on the caret,
Yeah. It
and it
says I'm at
blinks.
100%.
Okay, well,
That's
um,
as high as you can get, I guess.
okay. Well, if there's anything you can't hear during the hearing or you need me to speak a little louder, just let me know and I'll
That's
work
fine.
with you there.
I already know
Okay.
what Matt's going to say, so we should be pretty easy.
All right. So could you just give me your full name and anyone else in the room
Yeah,
that's going to be speaking during the hearing?
sure. It's Thomas W. Bridenstine of Bridenstine Legal Services, serving as the applicant and the attorney for the Wheelers. With me today is Robin Wheeler, Lewis Wheeler. Together they own the property, and their son Ahmad Wheeler is here today as well. Let me just turn briefly to show you that I'm not. There we
Okay.
go.
Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Okay.
All right.
And Um, great. Let me just get all that down here. All right. Are you expecting anyone else to join us here today on the applicant owner side?
No.
No? Okay, great. And sounds like you already know Matt Lashide, who
Yes.
is also here from the City Planning Department. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, good morning, David. Morning, everybody.
Good
Morning.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. I need to read through the hearing script. This is just going to cover the procedure for the hearing and then we'll begin. So this is the October 22nd, 2025 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the city. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us is case number ZH20250100. That's 1760 Berkley Avenue. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing unless there's been written correspondence submitted prior to the hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, Mr. Bridenstine, I will, is it Bridenstine or
Yeah,
Stein?
Bridenstine, like Bride of Frankenstein.
Got it. Bridenstine. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Bridenstine, I'll let you sort of orient your presentation however you want. If you want to make some opening remarks or some arguments about what this project is and what you're requesting and why you think it's appropriate, you can do that. If you want to just sort of turn it over to your clients and allow them to talk about the project or any combination thereof, it's really up to you how you want to orient it.
Okay.
But usually what I hear is, of course, what the project is, any background that you think is important, what the zoning relief is that you're requesting, and then of course why you think that is appropriate and should be approved. If we did have anyone here from the general public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. We don't here today. If someone joins, I'll let them speak, but otherwise we'll then move to Mr. Lashide. I'll allow him to provide any comments in addition to the staff report that he submitted prior to this hearing. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, you'll have an opportunity to rebut that testimony offered in opposition and respond to that, and then finally make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that is deemed irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. If we continue to have any problems with the Zoom technology or with the computers, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue to postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. The last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So to the extent your clients are going to be doing any speaking, I need to swear all of them in. So if each of you could just raise your right hand, I'll need you to answer out loud. Mr. Bridenstine, you do not, as an attorney, you do not need to be sworn. So for everyone else, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Okay, Mr. Bridenstine, if you are ready to proceed, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sturkey, and I'll try to be brief because I'm assuming that you've read our application materials as well as the staff report. But just as background, Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler bought this house at 1760 Berkley Avenue, which is in the Bond Hill neighborhood in 1985. When they bought the house, it had a chain link fence, partially in the front yard, along the side yard, and of course around the backyard. The chain link fence was 4 feet tall and of course nearly 100% opaque. Sometime in 2003, 2004, they replaced that chain link fence with a wooden privacy fence, essentially in the same location, partially in the front yard, along the side yard, which is Phantom Avenue, and then of course around the backyard. That fence, the wooden fence, was 6 feet tall and 100% opaque or 0% opaque, whichever. I always get confused. And I understand too from talking with the zoning staff at the city that if the wooden fence continued to exist today, it would be protected as a pre-existing non-conforming use. And in fact, if they had replaced that old wooden fence with another wooden fence in the current location and current height and current opacity, it would be protected as a non-conforming use. But in 2019, the Wheelers replaced that fence with a vinyl fence, same location, same height, same opacity. But switching from the wooden to the vinyl is what, according to the city zoning staff, lost the non-conforming status for the fence and gave rise to the need for this variance. Early this year, as part of the conversation with the city, the Wheelers were granted from the city a fence easement to allow this fence to remain in the Phantom Avenue right-of-way. I think you've seen the pictures, Mr. Starkey, so you know it's 3 or 4 feet off the pavement, which is within the right-of-way. And there's even a survey in our application materials. So the city was kind enough to, I want to say, grant the easement, but there's actually some compensation. The Wheelers paid almost $1,500 for the right to use that easement or the right-of-way since they've been using since 2003, 2004. And even before then, the chain link fence existed in that location. So one of the conditions of that fence easement, Mr. Sturkey, was that the Wheelers come to go through this process to make sure that the type of fence is adequate and appropriate for the zoning purposes. And of course, the need, according to the zoning staff, is for the variances that we're talking about here today. I go into great detail in my application materials about the application of the criteria for variances. In summary, I'll just hit some of the highlights. This fence, we believe, is consistent with the intents and purposes of the SF-4-T zoning district and really of the zoning code in general. And it's consistent with the plan for the neighborhoods of Bond Hill / Roselawn. More importantly, as you understand from our report and also from the staff report, Phantom Avenue really serves as an alleyway. No houses at all face on Phantom. It only serves as a driveway access to the various houses throughout the neighborhood. And in fact, as you saw in the staff report, if Phantom Avenue truly was characterized as an alley or classified as an alley, this fence would be allowed, this fence of this height and of this opacity. So we're asking that you find the Phantom Avenue essentially serves as an alleyway to allow this fence. One final point, the fence is compatible with the neighborhood. I don't know if you've been in this neighborhood, Mr. Sturkey, but if you have, or if you've seen some of the photographs, you know that many of the neighbors have nearly identical fences in the same location along Phantom Avenue. In conclusion, Mr. Starkey, we believe that the strict application of the zoning code would result in an unreasonable and unnecessary hardship on the Wheelers and would result in practical difficulties to them. And conversely, there's no real public purpose for enforcing strictly the zoning code with respect to the height and the opacity of the fence. So in final conclusion, we say that we agree with the staff. We agree that this should be approved. This variance should be approved. With that, I will ask the Wheelers to see if they have anything to add, and we'll take it from there.
We're asking that you would approve the variance. We would appreciate that very much.
And
What-
Mrs. Wheeler, if you wouldn't mind just saying why you need the fence in the first place. We talked about privacy and safety.
Yes, those were the main two reasons for privacy and safety. We have dogs, and then we have, of course, our kids were small when we moved in, and now we have like 30 grandkids. So everything is definitely a safety factor as well as privacy. And the vinyl fence has worked very, very well for us. It's provided what we needed, and we love the fence. It's low maintenance. My husband and I are getting much older, so, you know, the vinyl fence has worked very well as far as maintaining, keeping it looking very nice.
And Mr. Sturkey, you've seen the fence in the photographs, and you see that it's also has some landscaping along the edge of the fence, which was a requirement of the fence easement with the city. So it's very attractive fence, and we invite you to come out over the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Sure.
Please do.
I was gonna ask, how far does the fence extend into the front yard or past the front facade of the home?
Stops at the house.
I think it's 40 feet before you get to the street.
I think it extends just above the front of the face of the house by just a couple of feet. You know, the fence is in the front yard just a little bit above.
Yeah.
It's not even with the front of your house. It's
Right.
about, Ahmad's looking out the window to see how much. He's a contractor, so he can,
About 10 feet.
about 6 to 10 feet in front of the house. But again, Mr. Sturkey, that is how it existed as a chain link fence and then as a wooden privacy fence for all these many years, since at least 1985.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. Anything else anyone wanted to share before I turn it over to Matt?
No, nothing from us. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you all for your testimony. Matt, did you want to add anything to the conversation here?
Generally, I agree with the applicant's testimony. Phantom Avenue is reviewed as a public right-of-way street because it's a right-of-way with a width of more than 21 feet. But as the applicant explained, it functions like an alley. It only serves rear detached garages for a couple blocks. There's no houses that face this street. So generally, we would say there's, some sort of unusual hardship with that right-of-way being so wide, even though functionally it's just an alley. And if it were a narrower public right-of-way, then they would be allowed to have a 6-foot privacy fence along it. And, I recognize the effort that's been taken with the landscaping and the maintenance, and it provides an attractive appearance. And as noted, there are a few other properties in the immediate vicinity with a similar condition. So for those reasons, staff recommends approval.
Thanks. Matt, how does the fact that this is a corner property, how does that impact the zoning review?
The fence anywhere in between the house and either street is limited to 4 feet tall and 50% see-through.
Got it. So would the fence be allowed if it were located behind the front facade at 6 feet?
No, because it would still be in between the house and Phantom Avenue.
Okay, so it would need to be all the way just exclusively in the rear of the property. Is that right?
Yeah, if you have the staff report pulled up, Mr. Sturkey,
Yeah.
on page 2, there's an aerial photo.
Yep.
To the north of the house itself, kind of where the red property line encloses it. Yeah.
Yep. I'm just pulling it up here for everyone to see. Okay.
So anywhere between the house and to the east of it would be limited to 4 feet tall and 50% see-through. And that red property line kind of follows approximately where the sidewall of the house is. So anything in between approximately where the red property line is and the street would be limited to 4 feet tall and 50% see-through.
Does that
That's
include back here?
Yeah, we call that the corner
Oh.
rear yard.
Uh-huh.
And because it's along a corner, it still has that same limitation. Anything that is to the west of that red line, we call the backyard or the rear yard. It's not along a street, and it could be 6 feet tall. and
So so
opaque.
this portion could be 6 feet.
Yep.
But all of this could only be 4 feet and 50% opacity.
Yeah, and typically that rule applies where you turn down the street and there might be somebody else with their house right behind you and their front yard facing that side street. And we wouldn't want a solid wall right against somebody's front yard, but that's not the case here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
Thanks,
Real,
Matt.
real-
Appreciate
real
it.
quick, Mr. Strickey, from that area, you could see that the two of the neighbors, or three of the neighbors, I should say, along Phantom also have privacy fence along the Phantom Road Ave right of way.
Got it. Is
It's
that?
not
Oh, I see. Okay. So across the street.
across the street, a smaller section, but there is a fence there now. And catty corner and directly behind us, all of them have privacy fence along the right of way, and even perhaps in the right of way.
Yeah. So it's just.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that Google Earth? Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. It's a street view here.
Street view, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Thanks, Matt. Mr. Bridenstine,
Yeah.
anything you'd like to say in response to Matt's comments or anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
Nothing in response to Matt, but just I wanted to remind you that 7 of our neighbors have written, submitted letters in support of our variance request. You know as well as I do that most people don't care. If they don't care, they don't even get involved. But these folks took a special effort to demonstrate the fact that they are in favor of this. And conversely, there's nobody here on the screen in opposition, and you all received no letters in opposition as well.
Okay, great. I think we can leave it at that. I've had a chance to review the application materials, the letters of support, the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree with the arguments that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this project, to this application. So I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I think that's probably a realistic estimate just based on the queue of cases that I have right now. As soon as I finish that, I will put that decision into a PDF and I'll email it to you, Mr. Bridenstine, and Mr. Lascheid. Once Mr. Lascheid receives that email, he can approve the zoning permitting on his end, and if there are any next steps after that, you all can take it. But it sounds like that might be all you need at this point.
All right. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, appreciate everyone's time and testimony. Enjoy the fence, or continue to enjoy the fence.
Thank you.
And hope you guys have a